There are certain great fighters who have put on great performances inside the octagon, but they haven't headlined a UFC card. So here is 10 great fighters who haven't headlined a UFC card. Number 10. Jessica Andrade is a strawweight fighter who has used her brute strength to conquer some of the best fighters in the weight class. She previously fought in the bantamweight division where she had a clear size disadvantage, where she made the decision to cut down to the strawweight division and has looked very impressive ever since. She was able to string 3 wins together and challenged then UFC strawweight champion Iaquinta Jacek at UFC 211, where she lost the fight by unanimous decision. I believe her intense fighting style, and with her being a former title challenger, is more than enough for her to headline a UFC card in Brazil. She last defeated Claudia Gadelha by a unanimous decision at UFC Final 117. Number 9. Iaquinta is a lightweight fighter who could most certainly headline a UFC card in New York with his exciting fighting style. He has a high finishing rate where he always pushes for the finish whenever he fights and always puts on a great show for the fans. He has won his last 5 fights impressively, where after a few more wins, he could definitely headline a UFC card. He last defeated Diego Sanchez by knockout at UFC Final 108. Number 8. Mike Perry is a welterweight fighter who brings chaos inside the octagon whenever he fights. All of his wins have come by violent finishes, where he is climbing the welterweight ladder very quickly. Whenever Mike Perry is scheduled to fight, you know that there will be complete violence inside the octagon, as he always takes risks to get a brutal finish. I believe that the skills he possesses and his exciting fighting style could help him headline a UFC card. He last defeated Alex Reyes by knockout at UFC Final 116. Number 7. HyunA Choi is a featherweight fighter who has quickly made a name for himself with his quick finishes in the UFC. He possesses knockout power and is very accurate when he strikes. He is able to cover distance very quickly, where a clean shot from HyunA Choi could turn the lights out. With his crazy fight with Cub Swanson at UFC 206, I believe he has gained the popularity to easily headline a UFC card in his home country of South Korea. Number 6. Darren Till is a welterweight fighter whose high-level stand-up game has helped him quickly become a recognizable name in the division. He has great distance management and is very quick in landing clean strikes. He is always willing to take risks in order to get the knockout finish. With his victory over Donald Cerrone at UFC Final 118, he has proved that he has what it takes to headline a UFC card in the UK. Number 5. Sage Northcutt is a lightweight fighter who had a lot of hype surrounding him when he first made his UFC appearance. He was able to defeat both Francisco Trevino and Cody Fister impressively, where he looked like the next big thing. Since that time, he has suffered 2 losses to Brian Barberena and Mickey Gall, and has defeated Enrique Marin and Michel Quinones. He's a marketable fighter who has fought at co-main events in UFC cards. I believe if he is able to string a couple of wins together, he could definitely headline a UFC card on his own, as he is a very talented young fighter who has a very bright future. Number 4. Volkan De Maiz is a light heavyweight fighter who has made great fighters look like nothing in a short amount of time he has had in the UFC. His last 2 fights were under a minute, which has most likely guaranteed him a title shot against champion Daniel Cormier. He last defeated Jimmy Manuwa by knockout at UFC 214. He has a high finishing rate and definitely puts on a violent spectacle whenever he fights, where he has the skills to headline a card in Europe. Number 3. Francis Ngannou is a heavyweight fighter who has caused the most impact in the heavyweight division with his brutal finishes. All of his wins have come by finishes, where he looks like the next big thing in the UFC. He is currently scheduled to face Alistair Overeem at UFC 218, where if he's successful, he will likely get the next shot at current champion Stipe Miocic in 2018. He last defeated Andrei Arlovski by TKO at UFC on Fox 23. Number 2. Edson Barboza is a lightweight fighter who has brutalized fighters with his violent Muay Thai skills. He is known for his dangerous kicking game, where he has had fighters not being able to continue due to his leg kicks. He has faced nothing but the best fighters and is one of the only few top lightweights who has not yet headlined a UFC card. I believe his exciting fighting style and his skills and talent is more than enough to headline a card in Brazil. He last defeated Benil Dariush by knockout at UFC Final 106. Number 1. Khabib Nurmagomedov is a lightweight fighter whose high-level sambo skills has just dominated all of the opponents he has faced so far. He has just overwhelmed his opponents, giving them no space to breathe, which has helped him reach the top of the weight class. Although his performances have been so dominant, injuries and bad eating habits have prevented him from potentially becoming the champion. He was last supposed to face Tony Ferguson at UFC 209, but he fell ill and the fight never happened. He could easily headline a card in Russia if he remained healthy, but he has had a lot of issues over the years. He last defeated Michael Johnson by a Kimura lock at UFC 205.